What if the very blocks that seem to hold us back in midlife were actually the doorway to living our fullest expression? Welcome to Thrive After 45, the podcast where you remember the woman you were never meant to forget. I'm Denise Drinkwalter, heart whisperer, midlife mirror, and mentor for the woman awakening to her power. This is your space to shed expectations, collapse timelines, and return to yourself. For you, by you, because of you. It is an absolute honor and a real privilege to welcome back and reintroduce Barbara Wood Watson to our show today. In today's Thrive After 45 episode, we're going to dive into hidden barriers that often stop us from continuing to live fully and joyfully as we age. My guest is someone who has spent decades blending the logical and the mystical, helping tens of thousands of students worldwide silence stress and unlock their intuition. Known as the logical mystic, she brings a very unique background that spans healthcare, law, and meditation. But what makes her extraordinary is how she uses that wisdom to empower people to break free from stress, uncover what's been holding them back, and step boldly into their truest selves. I am so excited to have Barbara Wood Watson, the logical mystic, back on our show today. So great to have you here, Barbara.
Thank you so much. What a wonderful introduction. My goodness. I'm very grateful. Thank you.
It's my
Yes, it's good.
Oh, we go. I'm not going to say a ways back, but we have connected over a couple years
Few years.
anyway,
Hmm.
and it seems like a lifetime because you are such a gem to connect with. You read people so well, and our heart centers just seem to know how to move conversation, have opportunities to discuss in very deep ways very quickly. And I love that about you, Barbara. You are so in tune with everything and everybody without carrying all the weight that can come along with that. How in the world does that even happen?
Well, I guess when I think about all the students I've had over the years, over the decades, and coaching clients and whatnot, uh, they have obviously very individualized situations. But the common denominator is, and what we delve into is they know they want more. They know
Mm,
this life is not enough. I've got more I can do in life. I just don't know how to do it. I can't figure out how to get it. And what a lot of people don't realize is there are messages for you in that human energy field and the universal energy field as well. And if you have animals in their energy fields, the canine energy field for dogs, for example, and we'll get into if it's individualized, whatever comes up for you is where we go.
mm,
What I end up doing with them, and we do it over a series of individualized coaching as well as group work, and the coaching individualized is at their needs to meet their needs, their desires. But what we're doing, we bring them to the point where they understand what you seek is what you are. You already are. You have that
mm,
inside you. What you seek is what you are, but you just can't figure out how to get there. And so part of what it is just expanding their permission fields because again, they're not giving themselves permission to go there and helping them to expand. I do not expand it. I help them to expand because it's their permission field. and this has to be lasting. So it comes from them, and they commit, and then they just, they know they want more. They have whatever their calling is in life, doesn't matter. They can reach it. Whatever their deepest dreams are, they can get there. So yeah,
Love that.
that's how it happens. And it
And
uh, um, doesn't happen immediately, but it doesn't have to
right.
take long. It really
Mm.
doesn't. It just depends where they're starting from. That gets unearthed.
I love that. So are as a logical mystic, you marry, and correct me if I'm wrong, marry the real world with the five dimension or beyond world in ways that those of us who don't know and don't have that deeper connection like yourself can't do it because we get stuck here. Is that where we get stuck mostly, or what happens?
We can get stuck in various places. We
Okay.
can get stuck, for example, I give you an example of someone who just needs to figure out what to do. Most people have heard of fight or flight. A lot of
Right.
people haven't heard of freeze. There are different things that could be involved here. But think of a woman or anybody
Hmm.
who is out in the ocean somewhere on an ocean liner, and it goes down. So you're on a raft
Okay.
in the ocean, and you're lying there on the raft. You're close enough that you could reach out to the water, the ocean,
Hmm.
salty water, and you're there alone. And you need to survive. But there's a rescue ship there. You can see it. It's off in the distance over there. And you can see that the people coming towards you, they're throwing out bottles of water to you, to come to you on the waves. And they do. They come to you, and you might be, depending again where that step point is, you might
Right.
be saying, "Oh, great, I need that water. I really need that water. I need that water." And you watch it coming, and then you watch it float by because
Mm.
you don't have what it takes to reach out and grab that water, what you that you need. Now, it's not that you don't have it, but you can't access it.
Ah,
If the stuckness, if you like, is deeper, then we're going into the mind stuckness. So it's a body mind thing that I do as well as soul, spirituality, all of it. The mind may not compute that this is water that you need coming towards you. So that's a
right.
deeper level. And that's why it has to be very individualized, because if the mind doesn't compute, you're not really seeing that this water is coming to help you. Not only can you not reach out for it, you don't even see that you want to do it. So it just
Mm,
depends. So
right.
it can be happening anywhere. There are definite blocks, and there are definite ways through it.
Right.
Definitely. It works.
Now, it what one thing that you do so much. Oh my gosh. But one piece that you do is the meditation. In meditation, do you find that that helps level the playing field, as it were, or helps open up? Or what's the context for meditation?
Uh, yes, it does. And that is part of, to marry that with your previous question, going to 5D, five dimension, fifth dimension, and beyond. So we live in a 3D world,
Hmm.
and but we are living or going to 5D level through 4D, 5D, etc. level, which may or may not in the beginning probably doesn't mean much to you.
Right.
But living at 5D in a 3D world, it's really wonderful because it opens up vistas for you.
Mm.
Um, what you previously saw as limits, there are no limits. There are movable boundaries, parameters.
Ooh,
But I
like that.
don't agree with the word can't. And I
Hmm.
heard that in one of your things, but and again, not with my friends, but when I'm students, they don't say I can't do this. Henry Ford said it, whether you say you can or you can't, you're right, because your
Right.
thoughts create your reality.
Yeah.
The This whole idea, these concepts are often related to the law of attraction, which is the Eastern mystical stuff. But there is now scientific, logical proof that the
Right.
photons, the biophotons in the body, react differently. If you set an intention, for example, the
Hmm.
biophotons, which is the smallest particle of light, but they're not always particles. They will form into matter, into waves. This probably means nothing to people in the beginning, and but this is where the science comes into this.
Sure.
And it is often said that when you set an intention before you go into meditation, in the science field,
Mm-hmm.
you are looking at the biophotons, realizing they're being observed and realizing they have a role to play here and forming into waves, which takes into account the all sorts of concepts, like, for example, energy healing at a distance, that kind of thing. But
Okay.
again, this is all stuff that's come down. There is science around it, and people will look at it in their own individual circumstances.
For sure.
But it is, and so I do marry those, and I don't say can't. There, if a student says to me I can't do it,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, really, they're right, because this is creating the reality. So I say no. There's no such word as can't. There's won't. I won't do it, or there's
Right.
I choose not to do it.
Mm-hmm.
That's fine.
Right.
We can all make our own choices, and that's fine. And
Mm-hmm.
I encourage them to make their own choices. And if they're not at that point, that's all right.
Right. Right.
Everybody can get there. Nobody gets there. You don't just jump over leaps and bounds and get there right away.
Yeah.
And if the motivation is there, then the results are there.
Love
Yeah.
that. Love
Yeah.
that. Um, can you share an instance and where this had you have seen it, witnessed it, whether it was for yourself or somebody you worked with, where this has actually come into full fruition from this beginning to the end, things have happened. Can you walk us through something that will allow our listeners to go, "Oh my gosh, it is possible. She's not just saying this, this, and this, and this."
Yeah. I've got several, all kinds of things that I could, and all kinds of testimonials and whatnot, that we can look at. But again, people will come with various different scenarios. It's all confidential. I will stress that first. And if I use a
Right.
name, it's a made up name. It's not the individual's name. If I use a
Yep.
location, it's a made up location. So it's
Okay.
not, but the rest of it is true. So yes, I've had
Okay.
people come from all kinds of walks of life,
Hmm.
um, from people who are, you know, wonderfully happy with their home life, but that the kids have grown up and they want to do something more, that kind of
Right.
thing.
Hmm.
Or people who are in their jobs, their careers aren't going the way they want. So in one case, for example, we
Yep.
looked at a lot of this career stuff that was going on, and she was reasonably at a high level in where she worked,
Yep.
and she had all kinds of things going on at work, and she would call me. So we had emergency calls. Sometimes she'd call, and I'm available for that too when something comes up.
Hmm.
But I had her do all kinds of things. One of the things, for example, here's a tip for your listeners, is the big rocks thing, which you may have heard of. I expect with your background, you've heard about big rocks. So what are your big rocks in life? So I will have people go out and take a container of some sort, doesn't matter what it is, and
Yep.
then go out and get some rocks of different sizes. But what are your big rocks? What's most important to you? What is it
Hmm.
you want most in life?
Hmm.
And that may be your health. I mean, it's up to you. Your health,
Sure.
your relationships, your whatever it is. But
Hmm.
those are your big rocks. And then there'll be two or three biggest rocks.
Hmm.
And then you move down. Okay, what's next? What the medium sized ones? And then you move on down. And then in that container that they've got, and
Hmm.
I could, for example, use my cup, but it is full of water right now. But you'd
Sure.
use something bigger than this, but it's what I happen to have handy. So what we often do is we put all those little things, the small rocks, into our container, and then there's no more room for the big rocks.
Yeah.
So that is the reversal that needs to happen. And they will take so put the big rocks in first.
Yep.
So you get them done. You can work with them. Put the medium rocks in next, so they're still there. You put those little bits of gravel or smaller stones in after that, they're going to seep down in. They're still in the container. They're still there. They'll still get
Right.
done. But the big rocks will get done too, and the medium rocks will get done too. So you're not just doing all these small bits of gravel. You're doing
Right.
the big rocks. So in this particular scenario that I'm telling you, she actually took her container and she put
Yep.
it right beside her office desk and she looked at it. And I've had other, and this brought her right to the point where she could handle everything that was going on. There was a lot that was
Mm,
going on.
yep.
What are my big rocks?
Yep.
Deal with them. Okay, this is not a big rock.
Yep.
Okay, don't deal with that kind of thing. So
Nice.
yeah, so the big rocks has worked very well. And I have done
Mm-hmm.
that with groups of people. I had one time when uh, there was a hospital had called me in to speak to people, and they had a couple of other hospitals in their cadre
Mm-hmm.
who came in via video. So they were up at, sort of at the top, and then this group of people around here, and same thing, big rocks, a lot of other
Right.
things too. But we did the big rocks for
Yeah.
them. I do
Yeah.
that fairly often. It depends what's needed.
Of
And they would
course.
say to me, okay, I'm going to find my big rocks.
Yep.
It's just it can be simple, but it's not easy to do because it doesn't
Yes.
come to you until somebody
Yes.
and you think, oh, I can do that.
Yeah. I love
So
that.
out there you
Yeah.
go.
I love
Yeah,
that. And I love how it's a physical representation, which brings you right back into it. It connects you to it so you don't lose the idea of it. I love that. Thank you for
yeah,
that share. Hmm.
and it's always there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah,
Exactly. Yeah. Would you do us a favor and explain how would you initially work with a new student? You've talked about how everybody's so different. What would that look like?
yes.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Individually.
Mm-hmm.
So when people register um through my link, they will, as soon as I get the notification, they
Yep.
will receive and I'll just send an email at that point
Yep.
from me with a link to meet with me at their convenience, several things.
Nice.
They will also receive an invitation to join. I have the group programs and then I have the individual ones as well.
Okay.
And it stemmed from many years ago teaching in academia. I would have the group, the class, and then the class would be divided into groups. And so they could access their own group at the time because I have several different focus areas, all of which come together. And it
Right.
really depends what they need, where we go with it. And these focus areas are not discrete,
Mm-hmm.
they do mingle with each other. So it really is an individual thing. So I would
Mm-hmm.
meet individually. I would immediately start with the safety, the soma support, some somatic, the body mind
Yes.
support, because safety is so important, feeling
Yeah.
safe. And so many of us don't in this world.
Oh.
And, depending what's happened. So we do that. And that can be very simple. Just, right now, put your hands on your heart. There, I'm not doing it. There you go.
Mm-hmm.
Like so. And that's
Yep.
another
Yep.
tip for you right now, those of you who are listening. Just
Mm-hmm.
bring your hands to your heart, slow down, slow your breathing. And that's soma support, but there's a lot more to it. And
Sure.
depending what people need, I would do that. We would unearth the whatever they're ready to tell me about their
Mm-hmm.
situation.
Right.
And that develops over time quite often, or sometimes it's right away. It just depends.
Right.
And then I will meet each of them on an ongoing basis, again at their convenience, generally throughout the program duration, which is generally every 2 weeks or so. But again, their choice.
Mm-hmm.
I find in general once a week is a little too quickly for most people to
Right.
put into practice what we've talked about
Yeah.
and whatnot. So we don't necessarily do that. And I found that waiting a month is probably too long for most people.
Right.
But
Yep.
again, it's up to them. Generally
Mm-hmm.
works out to every 2 weeks. And if we need to change, we need to change. And if there's
Mm-hmm.
an emergency, I'm always available.
Right.
Contact me, we'll meet somehow.
Right.
I've got what I need to connect no matter where I am, even if I'm traveling. So I can do
Sure.
that.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and that and I have taught from various places, including cruise ships and various things. There's different countries. I mean, you can on the internet you can teach from anywhere or coach from
Yeah.
anywhere.
For
So
sure.
yeah,
Yeah.
does that answer the question? And
Absolutely.
that's where we
Absolutely.
would start.
Yeah.
And I expand their permission fields, as I said before.
Right.
So
Yeah.
simply can go give themselves permission
Right.
to do whatever comes next, and that will
Yeah.
come to them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love how you guide and it's based on the client. It's not based on here's the program, go and do it. It's a this is the skeletal pieces around it, but I need to meet with you to guide you to where you need to be based on what you're sharing with me. And it unfolds differently, I'm sure, with different people over various time frames, right?
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Well, as it unfolds too, in the different
Mm-hmm.
stages, because I have the six focus areas, but I also have five stages that people go through. And the initial couple of stages, they're more the sensate type in most cases.
Okay.
So there are types associated with this, and then they become reflective.
Yeah.
So moving up, and then eventually contemplative, and different. So there are different things along here, and
Right.
milestones, and action plans, and
Yeah.
all that, all that stuff.
All the
Yeah.
stuff, pulling it all
So
together. Yeah. Yeah.
on an individual basis for each
Yeah.
person, so they get the results that they came here to get. Yeah.
Perfect.
Hmm.
Perfect. What a gift. What a gift. And I am so grateful that you have taken your wealth, breadth, and depth of knowledge and continue to keep it out there, keep your arms open for those who are in the receptive frame of mind and are ready for, like you said in the beginning, I know I need a change. I just don't know how. I don't know. There's something telling me, but I don't know what to do. Barbara Wood Watson is your woman. Reach out to her if you are in exactly what we've been talking about. I think there's more. I don't know what I'm going to do next or how do I get there. And it could be an experience that you've had right now, or it could be something from previous years. Who knows? Everybody's journey is different, right? Yeah.
Yes. Hmm.
Yeah. Barbara,
Yes, I've
is
had
there?
people.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, go ahead. Whoa,
No.
what's your question? I'm probably about to answer it. I just have had people who have actually gone back to the womb during the meditations. So they've gone to various areas, depending what we're doing, but we do that type of thing as well. And going back to the womb to look at what happened at that point, etc.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so what were you going to
There's
ask? Was that it? Does that
no,
answer?
I was going to ask, is there anything that you want to share or leave our listeners with? I'm going to share with everybody, as always, in our show notes. There is information on how to find Barbara, how to find her Silence the Stress information, which everybody can use these days. There's no doubt about it in my mind. But is there anything that you'd love to leave our listeners with before we wrap up today?
Hmm. So what I would say is put your hands on your heart, breathe slowly, and just ask yourself, what are my deepest dreams?
Mm,
And then ask yourself, what if, as Denise said in the beginning, what if all the messages that I need are right there in my energy field and the universal energy field? All I need to do is figure out how to get that and get it to work for me. Just ask yourself that. And if you're so inclined, if it calls to you, come and see me. We'll figure it
yeah.
out for you.
Yeah.
That's it. Mhm.
Perfect. Thank
Yeah.
you so, so much for joining us in this powerful conversation. So many tips and strategies and knowledge being shared. If today's episode has spoken to your heart, I would love to have you follow the show, share this episode with a friend, leave a review so more women can find this message. And make sure you check the show notes because we will have information where you can contact and find Barbara. And if you're ready to go deeper with my Me Academy, the doors open there on September 30th. This is your invitation to step fully into the woman you were always meant to be. Thank you so much, Barbara, for sharing your time, your wisdom, and your energy with us today.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure. Very grateful.
Thank you. Bye bye, everyone.